Well, good morning. Happy Tuesday, to everybody. Hope everybody had a great Monday. If you guys are like me at all, you guys understand like the day after a holiday, it gets really crazy. And then like yesterday in the live stream, I went so far over and then it delayed my entire schedule. So I spent the rest of the day like trying to play catch up. So I don't know. That's just my Monday, but it's also my Monday after a holiday weekend. So it was good. We got it all done. Well, not all done, most of the stuff done. I still got a lot to do. And that's another reason today I have got such a tight schedule. So today I'm going to get this stream done and then jump into some meetings and things like that. So it's good. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys always tuning in. Before I get started though, I just want to say a couple things. The internet is such a wild place. The social media world is even more wild. And people's intensity over situations and things like that is always fun. So I say all that because yesterday I featured a article where we were talking about the National Association of Realtors and their position on cracking down on those that are misusing the trademark. Misusing their trademark, the realtor R, and how we say realtor and where it's displayed and what that looks like. And I read a whole article. I gave you my opinions and I observed and I read through these type of things. And the internet is just so wild. Like the amount of DMs that I got and some comments and things. I understand that some people might not agree with me, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Here is going to be my position. And if you're just tuning in, I'll give you a little bit of back. This is before we start the show, guys. This is just me kind of talking here in general right now. But yesterday, there was a whole article about the National Association of Realtors kind of cracking down on realtors misusing the realtor term and trademark and logos and all of that, where they are even encouraging other members to report one another and turn them in and that kind of stuff. In other words, kind of creating like this, like where each realtor is like a police for the other realtors. And my position on this is still very much the same. Is I have no problem with a trade organization or a company or anything working towards, keeping the integrity of their trademark and their brand intact. I think that's absolutely warranted. But the approach and then the type of company that it is matters. And when you are an association with a membership base that chooses to be a member with you, I think you need to be careful and not put yourself in a position where you are this big police force on every single topic that could come up in regards to that membership and that association. And the trademark is one of those. It's like, they chose, my biggest gripe is not that they're trying to have this trademark and trying to make sure the integrity of the trademark is good. I think fine, it's great. Do more training, like offer more training. But when you start putting the pressure on membership to then start reporting and telling things, on each other and reporting on one another, I think you end up getting into some areas where you have to ask that question is, why are we doing this now? Like, why is it that we're going to use AI to crack down on this? Why are we encouraging realtors to turn on other realtors and report one another on infringement on trademark use? Why is that the battle now? Why are we battling that now? Like we have this listing portal war going on. We just went through all this lawsuit stuff and in regards to buyer representations and commissions and all this kind of stuff. Like we're going to the whole element of the MLS being relevant or not. All these things are like very important. And the National Association of Realtors has in its eyes of its membership, not all, but a lot of them have this, they love them and then they don't like them. And it's this point of tension. And I think you have to be careful on the battles you choose. And this is one of those ones where I'm just going to stay true to it. It's like, why are we doing this now? Like, why are we encouraging other realtors to turn other realtors in for the misuse of the realtor name right now? Like, why are we doing that? Why are we trying to alienate other realtors for just making mistakes and that kind of stuff? Why is this the battle? So I understand. I hear you guys in the comments. I hear you guys in the DMs. And I want to start off the show talking about that because it's just kind of crazy. So that's my position. Yeah, Domino, welcome in. Good morning. Are we going to be mad about NAR again today? LO boo. Yeah, no, we're not. Just to catch you up too, I'm actually talking about a lot of DMs and comments that I got because I kind of spoke out against them. And I'm reiterating my position. I'm just simply saying is I have no problem with the Realtor Association, encouraging people to be, use integrity and use their trademark correctly. I just disagree with their approach. So I'm reestablishing my position on that is what I'm doing. And no, we are not going to be talking about that because, again, it's not that big of a deal to me. I think we can get caught in the weeds. I think it was a news article that needed to be discussed and needed to be thrown out there. But again, it's not something that I even care that much about. I think it's just it's a lost cause anyways. Who cares, right? So anyway, welcome in. All right. With that being said, let me tell you about what we are going to be talking about today. So today, the first two articles, I'm going to make it a little bit more fun and kind of helpful for real estate agents and thinking through their business and what they want to do and how they approach maybe certain social media platforms, brutal truths that real estate get into. I do get my pitchfork and torch. Yeah, let's go burn it down. That's hilarious. Yeah. Every time I hear that term now, I think of Shrek. That's great. So, so today I'm going to go over why real estate pros may not want to overlook TikTok. That was an article that was just ran yesterday. And I thought, you know what, this is kind of an interesting thing because I am using TikTok. I don't know social media that well, guys. I mean, yeah, here I am on it, but I don't know it. I am a real estate guy. I'm using this platforms and learning things as I go. That's what I do. I don't know these social media platforms. I'm not really that good at it. I just kind of use them because they're there. But this article is talking about like TikTok in general and like what it's doing and what demographic it's hitting and how we shouldn't ignore it. So those watching me on TikTok right now, this is going to be very relevant for you guys. If you guys are real estate agents out there, this topic will be helpful for you to how you use TikTok. And for those that are not on TikTok, maybe consider, a way to use it correctly, and then also how it could also not be used correctly. So we're going to talk about that. It's an article by Realtor, actually, nar.realtor. So there you go. And then we're going to go into Inman. It's 5 brutal real estate truths I wish someone shared with me sooner. This is an article I was going to talk about yesterday, but I got onto a whole soapbox thing, so we didn't get to it. It says success in real estate is built through small decisions made consistently over time. This is Jimmy Burgess. He's talking through this type of thing. So I thought we'd have a little bit of discussion about that. Good morning, Kevin. Glad you're here, my friend. Welcome in. And then I will be giving, this is where we'll have those two articles, have a little bit of fun with that. And then I'm going to end with a couple articles talking about the, I guess you can call it the portal wars, where we're fighting over listings and where they syndicate and all that. But more specifically, the Zillow MRED hearing, which MRED, if you don't know, is outside of Chicago. They call it Chicagoland. So in Chicagoland, there's this big battle going on with MRED, which is like their local MLS, and banning their syndication with Zillow. So there's some of this stuff going on right now. Well, because of that, Zillow, MRED, as well as Compass, and I've been drug into a corporate lawsuit. So there's this fight kind of going on. There's two articles I'm going to go over. One is by Inman. It says Zillow MRED hearing reveals fight over who gets listings first. And it's day one of the testimony put Zillow preview and Compass private exclusive at the center of the fight. That's what happened day one. And then there was another day two, that took place. And this will be an article by Risk Media. It says Refkin, which is the CEO of Compass, Jensen, which is the another COO of Compass, face coordination accusations as court hearing closes. I'm sorry, MRED is the Rebecca Jensen. Sorry, MRED is Rebecca Jensen is MRED CEO, and Robert Refkin is Compass CEO. They now took the stage on day two to discuss this position and gave their testimony. So we're going to read those articles back to back so we get a good perception of this. It's just going to play out in courts. But again, since I cover the news, this is relevant for us real estate agents to be aware about what's going on here, because it is kind of a fight in what private listings and off-market listings, office exclusives, and where this all could be shaken up, because these are two big, massive players, actually three big, massive players that can bring a lot of this to the forefront. So let's just kind of be observant. Nothing's settled yet. There's still things that have not been done yet. And let's also keep in mind too, that regardless of what happens here, if you are part of a local MLS, if you are part of the National Association of Realtors and you are part of an MLS, you do have to adhere by their rules and regulations on the MLS. There's no way around that. So regardless of what Compass or Zillow might demand, if you are a realtor, we are bound by that set of rules. And so we have to go by that first. But again, this goes back to NAR paying attention. This is the conversations that really, to be honest, we should be having, not talking about the trademark logo. Sorry. I had to go there one more time because this is a much bigger thing that actually does affect how we do our business. All right. Sorry, I can't help myself. All right. With all that being said, there's what we're going to do today. That's the discussion. My goal, I got to wrap this up like right at 9:30. Like I said, I got a really tight schedule. So I got to try to get through this. So let's go ahead and jump into the show. Welcome to the Real Estate Brief. I'm Adam. Today, we're going to be cutting through the noise. We're going to get to the truth in the news, look at the data, and I'm going to give you some of my observations and where I believe you can find opportunity. So if you're ready to gain your real estate edge, let's dive into our first story. And our first story is going to be kind of fun. It's going to be lighthearted, helpful, hopefully, and it's going to be a discussion about TikTok. It's going to be talking about TikTok and why real estate pros may not want to overlook TikTok and the benefits of TikTok. So this is an article that was written yesterday by NAR.Realtor. So we're going to go over this. It was written by, I'll give a shout out to Melissa Dittman Tracy. Melissa Dittman Tracy is contributing editor for Realtor Magazine and editor of the Styled, Staged, and Sold blog. So that's who wrote this article. So she's kind of in the cutting edge area of just kind of what is going on currently, right? She's styled, staged, sold. You know, she writes a lot of articles kind of like this. So let's see what she has to say about this, and we'll discuss this. Those on TikTok, if you guys have experience in regards to any of these things that are watching, because you are watching on TikTok, the very platform we're going to be talking about, feel free to drop that in the chat and I will bring it up. If you guys have an opinion or share something or anything like that to those that maybe are not part of TikTok that you'd like to encourage to be a part of TikTok, go ahead and mention that in there. Okay. So let's get started. This one here says TikTok has become a major source of real estate information for younger audiences, but many agents still haven't made it part of their marketing strategy. This is very true. In my area, there is like a very split. There's some people that just say, I'll never do TikTok. And there's some people that say, yeah, I love TikTok. I think it could absolutely be a place where you waste a whole lot of time. Okay. I'll just put a little caveat in there. I think any kind of social media platform where you can just swipe and get instant gratification of entertainment, I think it's a very slippery slope, and you got to be very, very careful with it because it can become a time suck and keep you from doing the things that actually make you a lot of money. But it doesn't mean you negate it and say it doesn't have some potential. Same goes for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and everything else. Each one has a place probably in your arsenal as far as marketing is concerned and helping you position yourself to deliver value back to your consumer that you're representing. So this is a good discussion. We got to think about these things. All right. Short form video continues to reshape how consumers discover information online, including when it comes to real estate. And TikTok has quickly become a major hub for attention. And no, that doesn't mean you need to dance or lip sync to get noticed. Now that I'll pause on, okay? First of all, totally agree. Short form video is outperforming long form video by far. But yet here I am doing a live stream. The reality though is instant gratification, quick swipe, quick little digesting of information is the way people consume things. So that is absolutely true. I mean, that is the majority of way content. Like if I post a short, it gets way more traction than any long form video I do, any live stream I do. All the shorts get way more clicks, more likes, more bookmarks, everything, right? It is true. Everything is more that way. The shorter it is, kind of the better it performs. Like under a minute, maybe even 30, 40 seconds seems to perform better than anything longer than that, which is my experience. Maybe you have a different experience than that, but that seems to be what it is. But what I want to say is even though you can incorporate some of that like lip syncing and dancing and all that kind of stuff to get yourself noticed, that is not the only thing that people are watching. They are going there to actually get information. They're beginning to search more on there, and that is becoming more relevant. It's becoming a place and a source for that kind of information. So don't just think you have to be fun and weird and goofy sometimes just to get noticed on there. Matter of fact, I think you can do a little bit of that to have fun, but I think the meat of it could be in what you're delivering and the information. It says, yet many real estate professionals are overlooking TikTok as part of their marketing strategy. Consider, only about 16% of realtor members of the National Association of Realtors say they use TikTok professionally for their business, according to the 2026 member profile. But then look at this number. So it's only 16% of realtors use it, but about 40% of US adults use TikTok, and usage rises to about 6 in 10 among adults under the age of 30. Now, look, it is a younger demographic that's using this. Now, that's gradually changing from what I have seen. Even though it's a younger generation, like those people become buyers and more people are adopting it. That is a missed marketing opportunity. They are your future buyers. So putting yourself in a position to win them over is a good thing. A 2025 Realtor.com social media trends report noted that Gen Z and millennial buyers are increasingly using platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as search engines for real estate information. Researching, sorry, I got a notification here. Let's see, short form videos. Search engines for real estate information, researching neighborhoods, local businesses, and even real estate professionals before ever reaching out. They're going through all this kind of stuff, right? I find myself doing this. If I'm researching, like if I'm going on vacation somewhere, I will type in the city name and where I'm going on all these platforms and watch a few little videos. I love watching, what they've got going on in regards to like restaurants to eat, entertainment, things like that. But think about that from a buyer's perspective or a seller's perspective that is moving or, transitioning or whatever it might be. That's value, right? So you want to come up in those searches. I'm going to do something here. Got spammed a little bit. All right. I had to mute somebody from spamming my thing. It's crazy. All right. Short form video builds trust faster than text alone because it allows potential clients to hear your tone, see your personality, and develop familiarity before you ever speaking with an agent. This is true, guys. Like, you got to think about it this way. We are social creatures. AI has diluted the amount of real, authentic human behavior, to be honest. So being authentic, making mistakes, being human is going to be valuable. So if you think about that way and you're doing short form video, guess what happens as people watch you? They understand you. They get familiar with you. So guess what? It erodes some of those walls and make it very uncomfortable to actually, make those calls. So it does break that down. All right, breaking down a TikTok content strategy. For agents getting started on TikTok, here are a few ideas. Build around content pillars. Now, those on TikTok right now, let me know if you guys are like really active on TikTok and you have success there. Drop in the comments some advice. If you guys have some advice on how to get noticed on TikTok and how to build a database of people that love to watch you, that you have influence over, those type of things to help them in real estate. If you guys have that experience, let me know. All right, pillars to create short form videos around expertise. Show what you know about real estate and the market. What is your experience? What is it that you can bring to the table? Just think through things that you've been through and share those things. Personality, give people a reason to connect with you personally. Community, showcase neighborhoods, businesses, and local lifestyle. These are just simple things to do. Jude says creator search insights. Oh, there we go, Jude. Creator search insights. I don't know. See, this is where I'm new. Dude, thank you for sharing. What is that? I'm going to write this down because I don't know what that is. Creator search insights. I'm assuming there's like a search somewhere that allows you to search what's going on for creators to then build content from. Is that the way I'm reading that, Jude? Let me know. But great advice. Those out there that might know something else, you guys can elaborate. But excellent. This is going to be good for me, guys. Like I'm new at all these type of things. Like YouTube, fine. Just live streaming, great. But like getting into like figuring out how all these things work, I'm not good at it. But great. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Education, help buyers and sellers stay informed and understand the process. Start with foundational videos. Haas suggests beginning with 5 foundational videos that introduce your expertise and your personality. So here's 5 things that you can do if you just want to start to do this. Oh, Jude, you chimed in. Great. You have to search it in the search bar and post a video on it so TikTok knows you're not a bot and will give you more views. Got it. Okay, excellent. That's good advice. Okay, you have to search it in the search bar and post a video on it so TikTok knows you're not a bot. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. That's great. So share something personal or a niche that can help audience connect with you, who you are and beyond real estate. Introduce yourself and the market you serve. Answer one common buyer question. Answer one common seller question. Highlight a favorite local business or neighborhood hotspot. Those are just 5 videos that you can make. Those are great opportunities just if you're just getting started, make some of those videos and maybe then piggyback off of each one as they go. Lean into repeatable formats. Now, this is true. This is where I have found it to be a whole lot easier to manage my time, is because like this live stream is a set format. It's not something I have to go back and reinvent and try to figure out every single day. I know what I'm going to do. I'm sharing 3 to 5 articles a day. I know how I'm going to set things up. I know how I'm going to begin. I know how I'm going to end. You know, I don't have to think through all those logistics. So it's just repeatable. And then the cool thing about it is you can kind of tweak things a little here and there and get better, but then just, you know, going in what you're going to be doing. So this, lean into repeatable formats. To make content creation easier, Haas suggests using repeatable formats like 3 tips. In other words, do 3 tips in each one of your videos, or myth versus fact. There's a lot of those in real estate, guys. There's a lot of myths versus facts. There's so much out there that is myth. These templates can simplify posting while reinforcing your brand over time. And if being on camera feels intimidating at first, use voiceovers. Haas says pairing narration with listing tours, neighborhood footage, or property walkthroughs. And here's the thing too, let me just pause here for just a second. Like, even though having you on camera is, you know, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, is the best way to go about it because people can connect with you and relate to you and see your mannerisms, that kind of stuff. I think it's very good. The reality is, if you're not comfortable doing that yet, there is nothing wrong with doing what you're comfortable with at first. As long as you're willing to commit to getting better at it, then just start there. Like, don't worry about being perfect and making sure it's all right. And if it's not what all the content gurus out there tell you should be doing, like, it is a process. It is not just all of a sudden I get on here and I'm just comfortable doing all this. No, you got to start somewhere, and you just got to be uncomfortable with it. But putting yourself in a zone where you feel okay doing a certain thing and it's in your lane, and you can do that repeatedly and consistently, and, you know, deliver good content. Then don't worry about what all the gurus are saying. Just start doing it, and then you can start researching as you get more and more comfortable. So I think that advice is actually really good. I think that's a great way to do it. For those just tuning in, we're talking about TikTok and how to kind of build a platform and the value of using TikTok. So, is this turn everyday conversations into content? Pay closer attention to the questions clients ask every day. Those conversations can easily become an ongoing content pipeline. Take a question like, what's the difference between pre-approval and pre-qualification? That one topic can quickly turn into an entire video series. Possibly even partnering with a lender to explain what pre-qualification means, why pre-approval matters, and so forth. Like, these are things that kind of get you thinking, right? This makes absolute sense to me. And this is what I do a lot of times in my job, actually, when it comes to like building meetings out. Like, what I will typically do when I get calls from agents, I just kind of take notes on the situation, and kind of, if I gave right advice, or if I need to go research something out, those are notes that I make in regards to when I put on company-wide meetings. Is when I'm having meetings with agents, it's because of conversations I've had with agents and experiences that they have walked through that helps us to then go through that information to then deliver correct advice to all, so we can help them get through the situation if they land in that situation, right? Same goes for anybody watching your videos. If it's a consumer that you had an experience with a buyer or a seller, chances are it's going to be relevant for somebody else out there. So it really comes down to this, and this is where the intentionality of keeping good notes matters. Like, I would figure out a way, some kind of system, to have a way to quickly record conversation that you had and what came up in that conversation. And especially if you're thinking forward thinking, thinking about how to create content, that is one of the best things you can do. So like me, I have this little leather notepad thing that you can put field journals in, right? So this is like a little thing. It goes with me almost everywhere I go. And inside of there, after I have a meeting, or if I'm on the phone and we have a conversation, I will open this up. I'll have it open. I will be writing down what took place. And I will go back at the end of the day and kind of look through that and say, what is something on here that will be relevant to help my other agents with? Now, for you guys thinking out there, this would be an opportunity to say, what could I do from these conversations that I could then provide value back to a consumer that's watching me on TikTok, YouTube, or anywhere else, right? That becomes content. So you just got to take your time, set up some kind of system that's repeatable to keep capturing this information to then create videos from. But you know, if you're going to ask a question, then you can guarantee that somebody else out there has the exact same question. So you're going to be delivering content that matters to the person that you're delivering it to. So that's a great way to do it. Everyday conversations. I love that one. All right. Think like a search engine. As Realtor.com notes in its social media trends report, social platforms increasingly are functioning like search engine, which means agents should think strategically about discoverability. For example, Use clear keywords in your bio, like Denver real estate agent for first-time buyers. They also suggest writing captions with phrases people actually search for, such as moving to Austin or home buying tips. And I would also do this, guys. This is a great way to research content too, is going into these social media platforms and typing in these type of search terms and finding out what videos come up. Like what are some of what other people are looking at, and what are some videos that are succeeding and having good results. You can do the exact same thing. Put your own flair on it, your own opinions, your own observations, but keep it in the same category if it's seeing success. You can use this as a search to also create content from. Prioritize authenticity over polish. Oh, yeah. I mean, 100% agree. There we go. Got spammed again, guys. Let's see, where is it? I got to block another. I tell you, mute account. All right. Authenticity. You know, people are craving more and more the true delivery of a human delivering the information. Like, do not fall into the trap that you've got to have it just put together so perfectly. Like the the breaks. I mean, you don't want to do a lot of that. You want to try to get better at that, but don't put a block in yourself thinking, oh, I've got to have this perfect script. I got to do extremely well. I've got to do all this right before I can actually deliver a video. No, people want authenticity. They really desire that, right? They need to see, they want to see that. Show up consistently. Haas recommends posting 2 to 3 times per week, focusing less on perfection and more on consistency showing up. Keep videos concise and follow a simple format. Start with a strong hook, like a bold statement, question, or fact, offer helpful context, and then end with a clear call to action, whether encouraging viewers to follow, comment, or send a direct message. So these are all very practical, not overcomplicated ideas that actually work. They actually work. And again, you don't have to be super flashy on TikTok or anywhere else. You just got to be authentic, and you can deliver information. You can help people watching your videos. Yeah, in that guy, I have so many cameras and lights and mics that I don't use. Yeah. Oh man. Same. We overcomplicate everything, right? Now I will say one of the really handy things that I use to record meetings on and stuff like that. I don't do a lot of, like, outside of my live stream, I don't do much other editing or videos at all. I pretty much just live stream, and then I have a program that cuts it all up and then posts it out for me. But one of the things that I love, and this is probably going to be a recommendation that might bite me in the butt when it comes out, because comments is so funny. I misspoke on a camera being a full sensor, not a certain type of a half frame sensor. And it saw the comments. I was like, guys, I'm a live streamer. I'm not a professional photographer. But anyway, one of the things that I would recommend is this. It's called Hollyland. Let me see if I can get that to focus. There's Hollyland. You've seen these on places. I'll share that here. Let me see if I've got this shared right. Whoop, there we go. There it is. These, let me know if you guys have seen this or if you use this. Super simple device, right? You just plug this in the bottom of your phone. Right? You plug down the bottom of your phone, and then you have these little microphones. It comes with 2 of them, so you can actually, plug it in and, or sync it up and have 2 people talk at the same time. It has a little magnet on the back. And you just pin it to your shirt. The biggest thing, as far as, like, if you want something, when I say not polished, you don't need something polished, but what will kill is audio. Your video can be junk, but what will hurt you is if your audio is bad. So talking just into your phone speaker or whatever can be really, really bad, especially if there's wind or anything that you're standing outside. And then if you're in a noisier room, this is one of those devices that I would say get. It's just, they're not that expensive. I think this one might be under $100, I think. I don't remember. But you just clip it yourself. You're mic'd up. It gets just your voice. It cuts out all the other noise. Super handy to have. Not that expensive. But I'm with you, Domino. I have a lot of technology that I do not use. So do not overcomplicate it. Very good. Yeah, let me know if you guys found value in that. If you did, consider following, liking, commenting, sharing, all that kind of stuff, subscribing. Gotta throw it out there. All right, let's jump into the next one here, and then we'll get into our last couple articles. Let's see. This one here is by Inman. Like I said, it's Jimmy Burgess. He talks about 5 brutal real estate truths I wish someone shared with me sooner. It says success in real estate is built through small decisions made consistently over time. This is true, okay? A lot of people get into real estate and they say, they want to get rich quick scheme, right? They think, I'm just going to sell a bunch of houses. I'll make a bunch of money. Man, let me tell you, you're building a business. Think like a business owner and realize it takes time. You're going up against some very strong competitors that understand the ins and outs of real estate. So give yourself grace, give yourself time to adapt and build this. Do not rush and think that you're going to make millions of dollars. There are micro changes and little things you can do consistently to get the most results. So let's talk about those. And he does a good job talking about this. After more than 3 decades in real estate, I've learned a lot of lessons. Some lessons came from success. Most came from mistakes. Anybody else agree with that? I do. I think that's the best way to learn. And guess what? You don't make mistakes unless you try. So you got to get out there and do things. We can go back to what we were talking about with TikTok and stuff like that. Trying to be perfect. Don't be perfect. Go out there and make mistakes. You'll learn more. Looking back, there are a handful of truths I wish someone had shared with me much earlier because they would have saved me time, frustration, and a lot of unnecessary stress. The good news is you don't have to learn every lesson the hard way. Below are 5 of the biggest truths I've discovered over 32 years in real estate, along with simple, actionable ways to start applying each one today. And it's funny, I just skimmed through these, and I was like, yep, I kind of agree with all these. 5 brutal real estate truths. Every excuse, this is going to hit home, guys. Get ready to feel slightly convicted. Morning, I'm late and getting ready for a meeting in office. Bobby, good to see you, man. No problem if you're late. I'm glad you're going to a meeting. Hope you learned something great and you had a great success, man. I'm rooting for you, my friend. Thanks for being here. All right, this one's going to be kind of convicting. Every excuse has already been overcome by someone else. I've heard just about every excuse imaginable over the years. The market is too difficult. Interest rates are too high. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm not comfortable on video. I'm not a good writer, right? Excuses, guys. That's what they are. Whatever the excuse is, I can almost guarantee there's another agent somewhere who has faced that exact same challenge and built an incredible business anyway. One of the most consistent differences I've noticed from the agents who struggle and the agents who thrive is where they focus their attention. Struggling agents tend to focus on what they don't have. Successful agents focus on what they can learn. Oh, guys. If you buy into the idea that I'm not good at technology, I'm not this, I'm not that, and you have all these different excuses, and you're not willing to learn, you understand that there's another agent out there that is. That is just the brutal reality. And so here is the challenge. Every single time that you want to say and give yourself an excuse for something that you don't have and why someone else has it, you need to stop and ask yourself that question. Am I just making an excuse to avoid what I should be doing, knowing well that someone else is doing it and having success doing it? And it's because they're willing to learn. The agent that feels like they just arrived, this is what I am, and I'm not going to do anything else, is the one that's going to eventually be replaced by the one that's wanting to learn. Okay? That's the point here. Is like, don't make excuses. If something's going on in your life, you have control of that. You can do the most uncomfortable thing that is proven to work. You can do that. And that's the key to being successful in real estate or anything, right? I could always make an excuse. Even in running, okay? We have this all the time with our runners. It's like, well, I don't really have the body type to be a runner. Okay, sure, there are certain body types that maybe are more efficient. But the reality is everybody can work hard at becoming a runner to some degree. Those that have the physical ability to run, I will say. But the case is still there. It's like, yeah, but if you tried, maybe you'd be better than you thought, but you'll never know that if you don't try. And that's the example. We have different experiences in life, but we have to be willing to try and be willing to learn. So it's just the reality of it. I think this could preach all day long. Number 2, it's rarely the best agent who does the most business. It's the most well-known. I heard this said once before is have you ever bought a item from a really bad salesperson? The answer to that is yes. You've walked in somewhere and the salesperson wasn't that great, and you've bought something from them. It didn't mean they were good. It just means they were present. They were there. And then that leads into being the most well-known. Sure, being really good and being great at what you do is very, very crucial. And that will help you be well-known. But the reality is, it's the most well-known that has the most business, right? This one can be frustrating because we all know incredibly talented agents who don't produce nearly as much business as they should. The reality is that people can't hire you if they don't know you exist. You got to get out and meet people. You got to get out and connect with them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't become knowledgeable. Exactly. You absolutely should. But expertise alone isn't enough. I could be the most expert person. I could have the most head knowledge. I could read every single book on this shelf behind me and have all of that. But if I don't put it into action where I'm actually getting out there and being known, what good is it? What good is that? If you want to be known, be intentional, show up consistently on social media, become known for a specific neighborhood or niche, get involved in your community, volunteer, join organizations, sponsor events, answer the question people are already asking. Number 3, the database you're ignoring is probably worth more than leads you're buying. These are going to hit home, guys, because we want this quick fix. We want this idea that if I just throw money, those that spend the most money win, right? That's the concept. Like, you just need money to make money. I need more money to make money. Guys, that is not the case in real estate. It never has been. Like, it's not that is not the game. And the point they're making here, the database you're ignoring is probably worth more than leads you're buying. If you've spent years buying up leads, you've got a whole treasure trove of names that you don't even have a system to market yourself back to. So what's the point of buying more leads? You don't have a follow-up plan to convert. So for years, I watched agents chase the next lead source while overlooking the people who already know, like, and trust them. If you spend all your time and all your money just buying up more leads, guess what you're doing? You're negating the relationship you have that would actually, if you cultivated that relationship and spent your time with those people, would refer and give you more business, right? Like, that's where your time should be spent. Most businesses don't have a lead problem, they have a follow-up problem. Before spending money on more leads, ask yourself if you've maximized the relationships you already have. Invite 3 people to lunch this week. This is, when I was actively selling real estate, this is what I would do. I would just constantly stay in front of people that I knew. I went to so many coffee dates. I went to so many lunch appointments. I served on so many different committees. Not just in the real estate industry, but outside of it, in my community. I did so many sponsored events. I wanted to be known. I wanted everybody to know who I was. And I also spent a lot of time cultivating the relationship with those that already trusted me. My true sphere of influence. I never bought leads ever. I don't even advise our agents to do it. I think there is a much better way to build a business. Most of your top producers, by the way, guys, are not buying thousands of leads and spend $1,000 a month. Some are because they built up a nice referral business and they got good follow-ups, but a majority of them don't have to. They got such a referral business that would just be more business than they need, and they'd rather keep the money. Before spending money on more leads, ask yourself if you've maximized the relationships you already have. Invite 3 people to lunch this week. Drop off a small client appreciation gift. Make a list of the 10 people most likely to buy, sell, or refer someone to you this year. And keep that list where you'll see it every single day. Now, this is the thing too, is you can take, I've seen this done before, where I might not get to any more articles today, guys, but this is important. This is hopefully helpful for you guys. I'm going to write this out. Let's see, family professionals and then you probably can't read this. My chicken scratches, but I just wanted to write this out. So you have 4 quadrants, right? If you could find 10 people in each one of these quadrants and write this down, this would give you 40 people that you would name as close to you as a sphere of influence, all right? So on one category, we're going to have family, all right? Anybody that's family. Anybody that lives in your area that's family. Some of you guys might not live in an area where you have family. That's fine. Maybe you have people that are close enough as family. If you could find 10 people that would recommend you and refer people to you, you start there. Then you have your closest friends, the closest people that are closest to you, your best friends. Figure out 10 of those. Then professionals, doctors, dentists, CPAs, whatever it might be. Find those people. Okay? Find the people that use you every day, that you use their services every day, that you are a patron of their businesses, and you go in. And then the final one is serve areas, and name 10 people in areas where you serve. Maybe you volunteer on a food pantry somewhere. Maybe you volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, whatever it might be. Name 10 people out of those organizations that you have a relationship with. This is just the basic information here to build really big, deep, meaningful relationships. This becomes your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is those you have influence over. So, and I didn't make that big enough. I'm sorry. I mean, it's all my chicken scratches. Can you guys read that? Probably not, but you get the idea. Okay. The whole point is tailoring in exactly who your sphere of influence is and making sure you focus there. And each one of those quadrants is a different approach. So like, you're not going to approach your family like you would a professional, right? Your family one is going to be very different. You might invite your family over for dinner and talk about real estate and just say, look, I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm in real estate now and I need your help. Like I need business. I'm trying to build this thing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning. But anybody you guys here, would you keep your ears open and listen if anybody talks about needing real estate, and would you then mention me to them? Share the meal with them, talk to them about it, make sure they know you're in real estate, right? Give them your business cards, whatever you can do to tell your family. Then the people closest to you, go on a coffee date, take them out to lunch, talk to them. Hey, I just started this career, or I'm in this career. Hey, don't forget, don't make it all about that. Ask them questions about their life and what they're going through, obviously. And if there's something you can do to help them, that kind of stuff. But then end that conversation with your best friend saying, look, hey, I just started this real estate. It's tough. It's a hard go. Or if you're already in real estate, it could be simply like, hey, just as a reminder before we part ways, remember, I'm in real estate. I know you trust me. We're best friends. If you hear of somebody wanting to buy real estate, would you please consider, letting them know about me? And then, hey, would you mind handing out my cards? Like, these are the touches. Like those two groups alone are going to be giving you a lot of referrals. So those people should be on your cycle of contact consistently. You should be meeting with them, talking to them, doing life together, all those type of things. Then the professionals. These professionals you go to, your stylist, your doctors, your dentists, all the professionals you use, you should have conversations with them as professionals. Hey, I use your business. Would you consider using me? Right? Or would you refer me out? Now, obviously, they probably got other people they work with, other real estate agents, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Build a relationship. Offer something of value back to them to give to them as a client, right? So think about them. Then finally, the areas where you serve, where you're giving your time, people that run certain organizations, those type of things. Get in relationship with them. And I'm in this group. What you don't do with them is you don't sit there and just directly ask for business. Remember, you're there to serve them. So taking them out to lunch, like take a director of a nonprofit out. Like, why not meet with Habitat for Humanity directors, take them all out to lunch sometime, and just ask them questions about what they're looking for, what they need, what is it you can do to help them, whatever it is. You serve that group. You don't necessarily need to ask directly for business, but you get involved. You get involved. I mean, if you want to grow a business and you want to grow a thriving real estate business, those 4 things will truly help you do it. I'm telling you, it's like if you just developed systems around that right there, you will have an endless amount of leads, guys. It does take work. It takes consistency. But man, you're connected with people anyway that already like you. They already like you. So don't complicate this. Just do not complicate this. It's very, very important. Relationships compound just like interest. One of the greatest surprises of my career has been discovering how powerful relationships become over time. Some of the biggest opportunities I've ever received came from simple conversations that didn't seem important at the time. A conversation with a stranger on the beach while my daughter was taking graduation pictures turned into years of referrals worth millions of dollars. Don't overlook any kind of conversation you have. Number 5, the biggest obstacle to your business is usually staring back at you in the mirror. This is true. This may be the hardest truth of all. It's easy to blame the market, interest rates, the economy, inventory, competition. I've done it myself. Same here. But everything changed the moment I accepted full responsibility for my business. In other words, ask yourself one question. What's the one thing I know I should be doing that I've been avoiding because it's uncomfortable? What is that? And then do it. Whatever your answer is, start there. The business you've always wanted is usually waiting just outside your comfort zone. This is true. This is so true. Get out there and make mistakes, learn, do things that make you uncomfortable, do the things that other agents are doing that is successful, make it your own, connect with people. These are great things. It's nothing rocket science. Don't fall into the trap that you need to be chasing every single new opportunity out there. Get really good at the basics. Get so good at the basics. Get so good at connecting with people relationally that the business will come from there. This is a referral-based business. Build out your sphere of influence using something like this, right? Something so simple as this can pay dividends for the long haul. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. The funny thing I just now realized too is I actually named this this actual live stream based on these next 2 articles. Might not even have time to get through them. I got 10 minutes left. Guys, bear with me. I'm going to burn through these because I honestly don't want to spend a lot of time on this anyway. Just more of an update. So there's been all kinds of listing wars going on, this kind of stuff. You got Zillow, MRED, Compass all fighting over listing portals, where things can be syndicated, private listings, all that kind of stuff. So let's quickly go through these 2 days of testimony that's happened in the courts in regards to this situation. And we're going to rest there. All right. Inman says Zillow MRED hearing reveals fight over who gets listings first. Day 1 testimony puts Zillow Preview and Compass private exclusives at the center of the fight. The first day of Zillow's preliminary injunction hearing against Midwest Real Estate Data and Compass began July 1st as a fight over whether the portal should retain access to a Chicagoland MLS feed. Background. Gary, you're welcome, my friend. Thanks for being here, Gary. Appreciate that. So just kind of give you an idea here. What ended up happening is Compass and Chicagoland basically cut the feed that was going off to Zillow in Chicago. So Zillow lost all listings in Chicago. The court ordered to reinstate that pending investigations and testimony from all parties involved. So that's where we're at right now, okay? So Chicagoland MLS cut the feed from Zillow. Zillow didn't like it. They take them to court, and that's where we rest, okay? So they're fighting over who has the right to cut feeds. Does Zillow deserve all listings to be syndicated to them, or do they not? But a transcript of the hearing shows the testimony quickly moved to a larger battle over pre-marketing private listing networks and who gets to control the first days of a home listing. Now, mind you, what we're talking about is just a few days of listing. We're not talking about long-term. We're talking about the first few days. Can a seller or agent or the company or an MLS or whatever have rules in place that allow that to happen? Or does all things need to be syndicated? Errol Samuelson, Zillow's chief industry development officer, spent much of the Wednesday hearing before U.S. District Judge John Tharp Jr., defending the company's listing access standards and Zillow Preview as pre-transparency tools. Compass and MRED sought to reframe those policies as an effort to protect the flow of listings that powers Zillow's business. Compass attorney Nathan Eimer argued Zillow was asking this court to put its thumb on the scale of competition, while MRED attorney Stephen Lebowski said the case pitted neutral MLS rules against a company that thinks it knows best how everyone should buy and sell a home. Okay? In other words, MRED is its own MLS rules. It is its own entity, and now they're wanting to say that they know what's best. Okay? Domino, I'm doing Zillow Preview. It's awesome. Other agents are mad. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Tharp, who previously ordered MRED to restore Zillow's feed through a temporary restraining order, is not expected to rule until after post-hearing briefings. So they're going to go through all these briefings. The first days of a listing are the battleground. That's what we're talking about, the first few days. Let's really be very clear. We're talking about the first few days here. Samuelson testified that listings are central to Zillow's business model, telling the court that you could say they're the lifeblood of our business. Without listings, he said, Zillow would not have an audience. And without an audience, it could not sell advertising to agents. That's the argument. Fresh listings matter most, he testified. Walking the court through Zillow data, Samuelson said a new listing gets almost 180 views on the day it first hits the market, but falls to about 60 views per day by day 5. That drop-off helps explain why Zillow, Compass's private exclusives, and MRED's private listing network are all chasing the same inventory. When asked whether Zillow Preview competes with private listing networks, Samuelson said both are trying to get listings as soon as they hit the market or even before. We also are trying to get those listings first. So it's really about a race to who can get the listing first. And that's why we compete directly with private listing networks, Samuelson said. It was one of the clearest explanations of the dispute, illustrating that whoever controls a listing's earliest days can shape where buyers search, where agents spend money, and which platform consumers believe has the full market. This is the point, guys. The whole point is Zillow loses if they don't have access to all those listings, and Compass and Emerald is arguing that the real estate agent and the seller should have the right and the final say on what is syndicated or not. Okay, Zillow's going to financially benefit. It's the only way Zillow's model works is by having access to all that data. The argument is not that, is that true? I think obviously that is true. The question though is it required? Or can Zillow force these companies to do that? And should MLSs force private brokerages to do that? And are we overstepping the bounds? This is a very relevant discussion. It's a very relevant discussion. Zillow Preview became Zillow's answer to PLNs. Samuelson also defended Zillow Preview, the company's pre-market listing product, as a more open answer to private listing networks. He described Preview as a way for agents and sellers to build early interest before a home fully enters the MLS and broader public market. Unlike closed private listing networks, he said, Preview listings can be seen by buyers broadly and can be accessed through buyer agents of their choosing. He compared it to a movie trailer. We like to think of it almost like a trailer for a movie. So the movie is going to open next week. You can't buy tickets for it right now, but you can buy a ticket for next week. But it's to try and create that momentum before the listing hits the market. Okay. Yes, Zillow, that's true, but that's exactly the argument that Compass is making. That's the exact argument. On cross-examination, Compass attorney Alec Solotorobowski sought to reframe Preview as evidence of Zillow's own competitive self-interest. He walked Samuelson through Zillow's Project Daylight materials dated March 4th after Compass announced its deal to display coming soon listings on Redfin. Samuelson acknowledged that the Compass Redfin deal was one of the reasons Zillow accelerated its efforts. He also acknowledged that Zillow amended its listing access standards around the same period it launched Preview, though he said both moves were responses to broader industry changes as MLSs began allowing longer pre-marketing windows. Compass used the timing to undercut Zillow's transparency argument, arguing that the company changed its standards once it had its own pre-marketing product to defend. Guys, I followed this and I read this very, very long. There was article after article after article, Zillow arguing against every bit of this. And then in one day, they announced their entire Preview market. Like, they were against this. And look, as much as you might disagree with Compass and their approach and Redfin and everything else, it's kind of irrelevant. The reality is nothing would have changed unless Compass and them did what they did. Because what we were doing, Zillow was profiting from. They would have kept doing the way they were doing it. So we can't buy into that. Like, they changed because of the pressure. And it had nothing to do with the MLSs changing. The reason that even the MLSs began to change their pre-marketing windows was because of what Compass was doing. Like, all this kind of began to change because of the pressure that was coming at them. Like, that's what's going on. Compass argued the standards were built to protect Zillow and aimed at Compass. It doesn't matter if you like them or disagree. I think that's the truth. I think the truth is it all changed because of what Compass was doing, and it was aimed at Compass. The fact that we're even in this trial or whatever it tells you that. One of the day's most pointed exchanges came when Solotovsky opened a December 2024 internal Zillow strategy document drafted months before the company adopted its listing access standards. The document contemplated how Zillow might respond if the National Association of Realtors Clear Cooperation Policy collapsed. The document listed example hardline tactics, including suppressing listings from uncooperative brokerages in Zillow's search rankings and removing all of an uncooperative brokerage's listings from the platform. One stated goal was to punish the agent for choosing to put their listings on alternate networks. A later page asked, what does or else look like? And who do we punish with which tactics? Guys, they're a company. Zillow is a company. They are interested in themselves. Same goes for Compass and Association of Realtors for that matter. Again, don't be the pawn. Personally, I love the idea that if I'm a real estate agent and I'm a brokerage and I get to decide what goes on with this listing, I can't be dictated by what Zillow thinks is appropriate, even what Compass thinks is appropriate, whatever. I think that's good. I think there should be some lenience here. I think the National Association of Realtors should be entering into this fight a little bit more and trying to help their realtor member base navigate this more effectively within regards to the MLS. Okay? Whole nother topic. Asked whether Zillow had been prepared to hammer people to keep listings flowing to Zillow. Samuelson called it colorful language, but said the company ultimately adopted a different approach. The fight turned on what private really means. I mean, guys, I'm running out of time. I can't go through all this. I probably need to pick this up later. But the reality is this. If I was to summarize kind of this right now for today, is one, just pay attention, okay? Read these articles, be informed, even though, like, I don't think it's as big of an issue as all this is out to be, because we're only talking about a short window of time, regardless of how we do this. I think ultimately it hurts certain business models, aka Zillows, because it gives the power back to the agent to kind of, in the brokerages, to make some decisions. And that directly undermines what Zillow is trying to do and how they make their money. So I think that's the major push here. And I think there's a note of alarm for us to kind of take and say, they're not in it for us. They're in it for themselves. And we need to really lean into our brokerages and really kind of focus there, because we can get caught into buying into like, oh, well, Zillow's got it right, or Compass has got it right, or these type of things, and form our opinion so strongly that we kind of miss what's really going on here. And it's that we are agents and we have clients we need to represent. We have fiduciary responsibility we need to adhere to. We also have MLS rules and regulations. We have to abide by those. And that's where the reform needs to start. I think it does need to be put back into the hands of the real estate agent. I do not think we need to be policed so hard about all this. This window of time, you can argue semantics about it back and forth about what's right, what's wrong, you know, all those type of things. And it's okay to have these kind of discussions. But when you really get down to it, Zillow is a company that profits from our listings, and this undermines their profitability margins. So that's why we're having this dispute. That's the entire point. And that's what Compass is trying to blow up. Let's just be honest. They're blowing it up so the dust can settle and we have some kind of new structure in place that maybe is more beneficial for the agent and even the consumer, even that wants to be more private. And then the final thing I will say is 99.9% of every single listing and every single agent out there is not going to do any of this. They're just not going to do it. We all know that the best way to market a home is to get it out there and get it in front of as many people as possible. And so does the seller. Okay? That's the reality. So regardless of where this goes, that's what we're going to be doing. But I'm going to be paying attention. We're going to be bringing it up. We're going to be talking about it. Okay? Danielle, awesome show. Thank you for being here as always. Appreciate that. Guys, Gary, Bobby, Jude, everybody that has contributed and engaged and been here watching and taking time out of their day to do this, I greatly appreciate that. I do not take that for granted. I will be back here 8:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow to do another live stream. Hopefully you guys can join me. I'll be doing another one on Thursday as well. I'm going to do a full week this week. But anyway, it's great to be here. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day to you too as well, Bobby. Thank you so much, my friend. Have a great meeting. Learn something new and apply it, my friend. It's awesome. All right, guys, that is it. That is your real estate brief for today. If you found this helpful, please consider hitting the like button to tell YouTube and TikTok you would like to see more of this type of content. Consider subscribing and following me to join a community of real estate agents that are focused on building a business that is relationship focused first. There's always so much more I could be talking about, but we'll do that tomorrow because I simply ran out of time. So in the meantime, have a blessed day. Take care. We'll see you guys then.